Welcome to North Carolina Law TV. Today we're going to talk about workers' compensation and what is it and does my employer have it? My guest is David Daggett, managing partner of Daggett, Shuler Law, and he's going to help us out with some of these questions and answers.
Thank you, Cindy.
Thank you for being here, David. So how do we find out if our employer has workers' compensation, and is that important?
Well, it's very important. In North Carolina, any employer with 3 or more employees is required to have workers' compensation coverage. So you ask your employer, they should have a certificate of coverage. Unfortunately, there's approximately 30,000 employers in North Carolina that do not have workers' compensation coverage. Very, very important, particularly if you're a construction worker doing any heavy labor, heavy lifting, you're in a risky position. It's imperative to make sure that your employer has workers' compensation coverage, because if you're taking risks as part of your job, you want to make sure that you're taken care of if something goes wrong.
Absolutely.
So,
and what do you do if you are injured on the job? What is the next step?
well, the next step is you file the claim with your employer. They're actually required to file a form, but you're required to file a notice of the claim also. So both sides are supposed to do that, but the injured worker needs to make sure that happens. So that's how you get the process started. You have the North Carolina Industrial Commission. They're the ones that supervises and watches over the workers' compensation system. That's where those forms are filed. And that's how your claim gets started.
Okay, now have you ever heard of an employee being fired once they're injured and file a claim? And is that legal?
No, that's retaliatory. And there's specific laws against being fired for filing a workers' compensation claim. And many times that's the greatest fear that an employee has, because this is their livelihood. They're now injured and out of work. You need your pay to keep going, so you need a check to get going, but you're afraid that if you file the claim, you can be fired for it. There are specific laws in North Carolina, both workers' compensation laws and employment laws, that an employer is not allowed to do that.
Okay, what about if you're driving a truck, you're on the job, you're driving a truck, you're hit by another driver, so you're injured? Where is the liability on that? Is it the employer? Is it the other driver? What is?
Could be both.
Okay.
Okay, so whenever you're in the course and scope of your employment, those are the key words, course and scope of your employment, you're covered by workers' compensation. You could be covered by workers' compensation and have another party at fault also. Gets pretty complicated.
It sure does.
Yeah. So if the other party's at fault, workers' compensation has a right to be repaid, and you're entitled to damages from the other side. Workers' compensation is what's called a limited recovery system. It doesn't include pain and suffering and those sort of things. It's meant to take care of you and replace your lost wages and take care of your medical expenses while you're out, but no other damages other than that unless you have a permanent injury. The third party claim, it's just like damages in any other case that you would have if you're just in an ordinary car accident.
Yeah.
But it's complicated because there's all sorts of notice provisions, there's all sorts of repayment provisions, and the logistical coordination of that is very difficult. In fact, many insurance adjusters don't even understand how that works.
I'm not surprised to hear that.
So,
if they were to call you to handle this, how much would it cost?
well, workers' compensation cases are handled on a percentage basis. It's a contingency fee. And the beautiful part about a contingency fee is nothing comes out of your pocket and you don't pay anything unless there's a recovery on your case.
Okay. And how can they reach you, David?
At our website, daggettshulerlaw.com, or 336-724-1234.
Very good. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Until next time, this is Cindy Speaker for North Carolina Law TV.